President, if you would. For a moment, I forgot the class president was me.
All rise.
Looks like you didn't get enough sleep. Oh. I know it's been very hot. Let's give her a Southern Belle accent.
I know it's very hot at night lately, but try to get as much sleep as you can. All right, everyone?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not sure this place can be called a school because there are so many different age groups. It's like a kindergarten and an elementary school blended together. Since I heard already about what this place was, I didn't feel that uncomfortable. It wasn't too difficult to act like me on here. As Sis told me, Satoshi-kun looked exhausted. I said hi to him, but he ignored me. Since I knew what he'd been going through, his pain looked apparent to me. I was interested in another person in the classroom. Oh, Satoko. Satoshi's little sister. She looked as worn out as Satoshi, emotionless like an abandoned doll. Everyone in this room was aware of their circumstances, but no one could do anything for them, so they just acted as though nothing was wrong. Mion will only let me have this one day. If I slacked off even a little bit, today would be over with quickly. I had to figure out what I should do in this limited time. I should probably talk to Satoshi. About what? Anything goes. Cheer him up. Sympathize. Anything. More than anything, I just wanted to chat with him. However, Sis had told me. She said Satoshi didn't communicate much with her lately, and had distanced himself from her. I figured I shouldn't talk to him too casually. I wanted to, but maybe it was better to leave him alone. I needed to keep Sis's warning in mind. But instead, I decided to ignore them. I wonder if you can tell that they're different people. I looked for Satoshi during lunch break. He was walking as if he was looking for a place where he could be alone. I caught him in the hallway. Satoshi-kun? He turned around, startled by my voice. His facial expression surprised me. He wasn't scowling. He was scowling, clearly a sign of rejection. But I couldn't hesitate. I'd lose my only chance if I did. Hey, how are you? He gave me a look as if saying, do I look fine to you? I never expected to see an expression like that on his face. I felt like my heart was being torn into pieces. As I looked down, he spoke to me. I felt a little glad, but the next thing he said changed that. I'm fine. Is there anything else? Huh? I'll get going if there isn't, because I want to be alone.
Okay. I guess you're tired from work. I'm sure you want time to yourself. You're working today too, right? Where at?
Sis had found several jobs for him. He worked at a few different places. He was helping out when necessary at any of the shops Mion introduced him to. As a result, he constantly had to do different tasks in a different environment almost every time. On top of that, he requested high-paying jobs from Mion because he wanted a large sum of money as soon as possible. In other words, he chose to do mostly manual labor. He was exhausted every day because he wasn't that physically strong. Does it matter? And shouldn't you know? You helped me get the job. Mion did help him get the job. Yet Satoshi-kun didn't look thankful for that opportunity. This wasn't like him at all. It made me feel sad. You're right. Sorry. Is that all? He sounded so harsh. Why was he being like that? Would he ever stroke my head again? Oh, I couldn't help my tears. They flowed onto my cheeks. Satoshi looked confused for a moment, but then he frowned again. Sorry. The coach said he wanted you to come back to practice. I told him I quit, so I won't be going back. But maybe it's a good idea to work out from time to time. You know? Not interested. I didn't know why he was being so hostile towards me. Why did he hate me so much? I was left bewildered. Why? How come? Because I'm busy. Isn't it obvious? No, I didn't mean that. Why do you hate me so much? Why don't you ask yourself? Ask myself? What? What did I do? I don't understand. I couldn't control my emotions any longer. Streaks of tears ran down my cheeks. Satoshi gave me a hateful glare and walked away without saying another word. I couldn't even stop him. If I tried, he'd hurt me again with another cutting remark. I couldn't bear that. So I just watched him walk away. I wiped my tears and went back to the classroom. Clearly, Mion did something to him. But this is Shion, and I wish that she would actually tell him. I heard someone crying from inside. What's going on? I looked around the room to see. It was Satoko. I saw her bento box on the floor. I asked one of her classmates what happened, and it seemed that Satoko had bumped into somebody's shoulder when she stood up to go to wash the box out. That was all. But Satoko was crying as if afraid she was going to be chided badly. What happened was so minor. She could just pick up the bento box and things would be fine. It looked like the lid came a little loose, but it was definitely fixable. She didn't have to cry like that. Yes, Satoko started begging through her tears. Help me, Nini. Because of what happened with Satoshi, I couldn't suppress my emotions very well. So instead, they exploded. I stormed up to Satoko while elbowing her classmates aside. I grabbed her by the head, then threw her into the wall. Satoko screamed. She didn't seem to understand what had happened. She was shedding tears and shivering. She must be wondering why I did that. Do you know why I did that? Satoko cried for her brother's help again, and so I grabbed her and threw her again. Satoko stumbled and crashed into a desk. The desk fell and the contents of the drawer scattered about. Satoko didn't even stand. She just crouched and trembled while looking at me. Help! If you weren't like that, Satoshi wouldn't have to suffer. Don't you get it? That's what I wanted to say, but I was too angry. I couldn't say another word. I picked up a bunch of textbooks from the floor and threw them at her face. Cry as much as you want, but nothing's going to change. Why are you crying? Because you think someone's going to help you? You don't have any idea what he has gone through to protect you, do you? Do you understand? Do you understand what you're doing? You shouldn't exist. Die if you don't want to suffer. Go fuck yourself. Don't hurt Satoshi. You deserve to die alone. You just deserve to die. Her desperate cries only increased my irritation. Stop crying! Don't call for your brother for help. Stop it! If you weren't like that, if only you... I kept throwing things at her. Satoko curled up into a ball to protect herself and cried even harder. At that point, a girl with long hair ran up and huddled over her. I knew who it was. Fururerika, one of Satoko's only friends. Please don't hurt her.
She's in a poor situation, so please don't hurt her.
Doesn't matter how pathetic she is. She shouldn't rely on him all the time. Stop spoiling her. Satoshi has to suffer so much because of her.
No. Stop. Don't hurt her.
Rika also became the target of my anger. I'm trying to teach her something here. If you keep getting in the way, I'll crack your head open. I grabbed a chair and lifted it over my head. It wouldn't hurt a little if I only threw this at them. Rika tightly closed her eyes and covered Satoko with her body. I didn't care what the consequences would be. I didn't care if I hurt them.
Stop! Mii-chan!
Reina returned to the classroom and shouted at me. Then Satoshi rushed in while pushing Reina aside. Seeming to have grasped the situation immediately, he charged straight at me. Until my body had hit the locker, I didn't understand what had happened. There was a loud crashing noise. I'd left a dent in it. I crouched there in pain. Satoko! Are you alright? Satoko pushed Rika aside, jumped at her brother, and started crying again. What happened? Why were you treated like that? Why?
I didn't do anything, but Mian, she suddenly...
What's going on, Mion? Satoshi shouted at me while clutching his sister. He looked fierce. What did Satoko do to deserve this? What did we do? Why do we always have to suffer like this? Why? Why? He released Satoko, rushed up to me, grabbing me by the neck. You said that I should ask myself, didn't you? So why don't you ask yourself? Ask what? I know you feel she's a burden on you. You always have to suffer because of her. You know that, right? If she were stronger, you wouldn't have to suffer. She's the one to blame. I don't believe what I said was wrong, but after hearing it, Satoshi went berserk. I have to turn this down a little bit, I think. What the heck do you know? Satoshi grabbed my hair and threw me to the wall, just like I did to Satoko. However, I wasn't going to back down. I no longer had any control over my emotions. You spent so much time protecting her. She'll never stop relying on you until you stop doing that. What the hell do you know about us? What the heck do you know? You persecuted our parents, and now it's us? Ah. There it is. That's the way of the Sonozaki family, huh? You torture traitors for fun? Is it fun? Is it fun bullying us, huh? Stop! That was Reina's voice. She stepped in looking as fierce as a demon.
Satoshi, please! Mii-chan doesn't have any bad intentions. She wanted to help you, but she just lost control a little, okay?
Satoshi looked like he wanted to say something back, but chose not to.
You too, Mii. I know how much you worry. But you can't solve the problem like that. I think you understand, right?
Since Satoshi didn't say anything, I kept quiet too.
Here, Satoko. You don't have to cry just because you dropped your bento box. Alright? Do you feel better now?
You know, seeing it from this perspective, and I know it's from this perspective, it's actually, she's not entirely wrong. Everyone is spoiling Satoko rotten. Like, I know they have a really bad situation and shit, but like, and also knowing that she does some of these things on purpose to like get rid of men that her mom dated, I actually feel really bad for Shion right now. And it's even worse because she can't be Shion. She has to be Mion, so she can't even like be her own person. And of course she doesn't know the whole situation because she's only getting half of the story, you know?
Satoko, I'll pick up your pencil for you.
Rika started to pick up the bento while its owner continued to cry.
Guys, can you help us clean up? The teacher will be back from the vegetable garden soon. This quarrel's over, so don't tell her about it, okay?
The classmates looked at each other and nodded, then started picking up the stuff on the floor.
Here, Satoshi, me, why don't you guys shake hands as a sign of a reconciliation?
Sorry. I didn't mean to do this. Tears started to roll down my cheeks again. I'm sorry, too. You have nothing to do with our family situation. I'm sorry.
Okay. Me, why don't you apologize to Satoko now?
I was fine with apologizing to Satoshi, but I didn't want to apologize to her. But the situation wouldn't be settled otherwise, so I reluctantly apologized. Satoko nodded, looking discouraged. After that, Reina let me go. My head ached, so I held it with both hands. What was that? What did I do?
I didn't want to use this precious time to fight. Sis had warned me. She told me I shouldn't talk to Satoshi just like that. What did I come here for? I shouldn't have come here if I knew this was going to happen. Stupid. You're stupid, Shion. I was overcome by emotions because I was so worried about Satoshi. I didn't think I was wrong. Were they wrong from the beginning? I got into a fight with him. I was totally opposite of what I wanted. I regretted it. I hated myself for it. I couldn't blame myself enough. My world had been torn apart. I wish the sky would fall and kill me. Just tell him, for fuck's sake. Sis sounded both amazed and confused. You know I'm busy with festival preparations, but you certainly made things more complicated. Sorry. Sis tried to say something, but she stopped in the middle. After listening to a few complaints, I started telling her everything about what happened today. Sis had to pretend the trouble I caused today was her responsibility, which must have been very taxing for her. So I won't get the chance to trade spots for a while. Oh my god, so Shion doesn't even get to, see him before he dies, probably. Hey, I think you should be more aware of the hassle I have to go through. Yeah, you're right. Sis had been sympathetic, but maybe I pushed her too far this time. Of course she'd be hesitant to trade spots, considering what I did today. The atmosphere felt awkward, so we were both silent for a while. If you were to get another chance, what would you do, Shion? That was a reasonable question. I wasn't prepared to answer, though. If I had the chance to go to school once again and see Satoshi, what would I do? Would I apologize? I don't think that would work. That might even upset him again, no matter how hard I tried. Okay, here's something that he was saying. It was the Sonozaki family who had been harassing his. It would only be natural for him to hold a grudge against us. But why was he only expressing that now? I've been a Sonozaki to him all along. Satoshi stroked my head even though he knew I was Sonozaki Mion. Sis, do you think Satoshi's holding a grudge against the Sonozaki family? I think so, yeah. It was our family that initiated the persecution of the Hojo family, making them into scapegoats. Even after the dam conflict, it wasn't easy for the Hojo family to live in Hinamizawa. Given all of that, it's not surprising that Satoshi hates us. The Sonozaki family who put his family in a devastating situation. But why now? Why is he only expressing that grudge to us now? Why is this happening now? If he wanted to... if he had rejected me in the first place, I wouldn't have wanted to get close to him. My tears wet my cheeks. I didn't bother to wipe them. It's only natural for him to hold a grudge against the Sonozakis. There's nothing unusual about it. Rather, why has he been treating me like a friend? I knew how stupid this question was.
I think it's because he was mature.
I can't understand. He'd been treating me as a friend because he was mature. But now that he's become stressed mentally and physically, he decided to reject me. No matter how hard I thought about it, I couldn't find anything to fault him with. If there was someone to be blamed, it'd be someone I'd never accused before. Why? Why did the hag decide to persecute the Hojo family?
Huh?
It was his parents who supported the dam project, right? Satoko had nothing to do with it. Why was he included? Why?
Mion couldn't say anything in return. Actually, it wasn't at all hard to guess the reason. The hag didn't give any specific orders to harass the Hojo family. She just thought the Hojo family was getting in the way. The people around her noticed what was bothering her and took steps to get rid of it. Though, of course, she must have known how influential her words were. She didn't just think that. She gave what she must have known would be interpreted as an order. She's the one to blame for initiating the attack on the Hojos. You said before the Furude priest wasn't mature because he didn't cooperate, right? Is this the same scenario? The Hojo family wasn't mature because they didn't act in accordance with the other villagers? That's why the hag decided to punish them, isn't it? Mion couldn't say anything in return, meaning my accusation was the truth. They already punished the Hojo couple. Feel free to bring them into the torture room in the garden. Chop their fingers off or something, but leave Satoshi alone. He has nothing to do with this. Why did he deserve this? What did he do wrong? Answer me. Answer me, Mion. Very well. Please take care of the matter. Goodbye. Mion suddenly changed her tone and hung up. She must have done that to escape my questions, and I was furious. I started redialing the number, but then I remembered that we decided she'd hang up the phone after using that phrase when she saw the hag coming. I doubted she actually saw the hag, but it was the rule, so I couldn't call back for a while. I went to the bathroom to wash my face and cool down. I turned the faucet. The water felt lukewarm. It didn't help me cool down at all. I'm disgusted by my own childness. I just wanted to fill my void. I didn't care about him, considering that Satoshi was very generous. But I don't know if I can forgive Satoko. That's a different story. I was looking up at the ceiling with my arms and legs spread out. It's not that I wasn't getting hungry. I didn't live with my parents. I didn't live in the school dorm. That meant I had to cook something myself when I wanted to eat. I knew that, but I still didn't feel like getting up. It had been several days since I began this empty life. It must be tomorrow. Oh, shit. The Nagashi festival, I mean. I heard the doorbell ringing. I ignored it at first, but it rung persistently. I started hearing knocking alongside Kasai's rude voice. Shion-san, please open up. I brought some food for you. I didn't ask him to. He must have known I hadn't eaten enough and been feeling down. You haven't eaten, have you? No, I'm not hungry.
But when Kasai put food on the table, my stomach reacted in a very primitive way by making some noise. Your stomach's growling. I believe you need to eat. I was hungry, but I had no appetite. I mean, I did have an appetite, but didn't have the energy to eat. Yet, I'd feel bad wasting the food Kasai had brought. I picked up my chopsticks just to humor him. I thought you were marked by the hag. Oh, sorry. I thought you were marked by the hag. Is it okay for you to be here? Oh, your son's busy with the festival preparation meetings. She doesn't seem to have time to deal with you right now. Don't you like the croquets?
They're good. Thanks.
While I nibbled on the food, Kasai read through the magazines I bought. Have you, I never talked to Kasai about something like this before. Since I've always believed myself superior to him psychologically, I hesitated to show my weakness to him. That kind of hardship's healthy for your age. Hey, did you know about that? Mion told me a little about it. She said she wanted me to assist you. She did she? She looked worried. Your sister's looking out for you. Without responding, I threw the last croquet in my mouth. I thought you might want to know how Satoshi Hojo's doing. I've gathered some info. Would you like me to report?
That's not necessary. But since you went through the trouble, I think I'd better listen.
Kasai chuckled, but stopped quickly as if thinking it rude. It seems that Teppei Hojo fled the premises. He seems to be residing with his mistress' place in Okonomiya. Teppei? Who's that? Oh, Satoshi's uncle, huh? Their aunt, Tamai Hojo, Satoshi and Satoko, are the only one living in the house right now. Ever since Tamai learned that Teppei had fled to his mistress, she's been in a foul mood, she has.
So that must mean the aunt is being even nastier to Satoko and Satoshi.
I don't know about Satoshi, but I heard that Satoko looks very miserable. The neighbors are spreading rumors about her. If Satoko looks miserable, that means Satoshi must be going through the equal miserable torture.
Can't you do something about that aunt? Doesn't anybody talk about punishing her? She's also one of the remaining Hojos after all. The uncle's gone, so why not the aunt?
The main Sonozaki family ruled against further harassment toward the Hojo family after the death of the couple. They say the police might still be checking out the house due to suspicions about the couple's death.
Their deaths have been filed under the Oyashiro-sama's curse. So the Sonozaki family thinks no further divine intervention is necessary?
I'm actually starting to think Shion might be the one that murders the aunt.
Come to think of it, is it hard not to suspect the involvement of the Sonozaki family in all the incidents said to be the Oyashiro-sama's curse?
Somebody strives to get rid of the hag's concerns on the day of the Waranagashi festival. Furthermore, the Waranagashi festival is going to be held tomorrow. Will the curse strike again this year? If so, who will be the victim? Now that I think about it, there were cases of multiple victims in the past. The first and third year it was just one, but the second year the victims was a couple. So would it be too strange if 2 people fell the victim this year? It seems like a good time. It'd be best for Satoko and her aunt to be the victims. Satoshi would be freed from every source of his worries all at once. Kasai, do you know if this year's victim has been selected already? Does the hag make the decision? If so, Sis should know about it by now. Kasai, do you know anything? Shion, I don't know anything about that matter. Well, that makes sense. That kind of secret won't make its way to you because you're just a small fry. That's true. I've never received any information regarding that from my connections. But as you know, the Sonozaki family has access to many underground organizations, which I have no channels into. Maybe I could try asking Sis, but she won't talk. She's strict about keeping promises, unlike me. If the hag told her to keep it a secret, she'd take it to her grave. Damn. I hope Satoko and her aunt will go missing this year. Hey, Kasai, I just thought of that. Aren't you going to do something about it? Shion, you must be joking. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I took a glimpse at Kasai. It didn't look like he was actually gonna do something to make my wish come true. I wasn't able to go to the villages myself, so I definitely wasn't going to the festival. I didn't care about that. Even so, I was interested in who was going to end up as the victim of the curse. If I just kept lying on this couch playing hooky, someone would fall victim in several hours. I had no clue why it had to happen every year. But I was certain the hag was behind it. All the enemies from the dam conflict had been punished. Only the Hojo couple was left, since most of the other enemies had already gone. The cicadas were crying loudly outside. It made me feel hot. Why was it this hot and humid in June? If Oyashiro was actually punishing people, I'd pray for one thing. I prayed the evil aunt would be punished. And I'd offer up Satoko as a sacrifice. It's hot. When I woke up, Kasai had already gone. Looks like he cleaned the table in the surrounding room. He put my dirty laundry into the hamper in front of the washing machine, too. Being a girl of sensitive age, I didn't want a man to clean my room. Well, I'd rather thank him than badmouth him. I looked at the clock. It was late afternoon. I had to go grocery shopping. There was nothing left in the fridge, and I'd be having just rice for dinner if I didn't go. At that moment, the phone rang. It must be Kasai, I thought. I did hope it was him. He could have bought more food, so then I wouldn't have to go shopping. While I was just being lazy, I didn't feel like going out at all. But it wasn't Kasai on the phone. Sis? Where are you calling from? The house? No. I'm calling from a payphone, so I'll make it quick. Satoshi called me. Satoshi did? He called you? It probably wasn't me he wanted. He called you, I think. It sounded like he wanted to apologize for what happened the other day, so I thought you should take the call. I told him I'd call back because I was busy. So, can you call this number? Okay. I was stunned for a second, but then recovered and wrote down the number on the back of a magazine. Thanks. I'll call right away. Good. He's been extremely stressed these days. I don't think he'll listen to me anymore, but I think he'll listen to you. She could have pretended to be me and handled his call, but she passed it to me. Thank you, Mion. See you, Shion. Before she hung up, I put the handset down. Then, after a second, I dialed the number in a flash. Tell him, please tell him. I heard the dial tone 4 times, and there he was. Hojo residence. He sounded like an adult. His voice sounded a bit tired too, but it definitely was the voice I loved. I got scared. I was scared he might be sulky again if I mentioned my name. I couldn't open my mouth for a while. Is that you? Oh, is that you, Satoshi-kun? Oh, sorry I called you so suddenly. Are you okay now? That was the Satoshi I knew. He didn't sound cold like the other day. Yes, I'm okay. Good. After that, he went silent. I felt the urge to start a conversation. It wasn't fair. He was the one who called in the first place. Then, he finally spoke. I'm really sorry for what happened the other day. I'm sorry too. You don't have to apologize, because I was in the wrong. If this were a face-to-face conversation, he'd be stroking my head.
It was sad just talking to him over the phone.
I won't forgive those people who forced us into this situation. You might be close to them, but it was never you personally, so I wanted to apologize.
No, please don't apologize. I was selfish and I didn't try to understand your situation very well.
We apologized to each other a few times.
Are you alright, Satoshi-kun? You're working and you're under a lot of stress. Isn't it too much?
I quit my job. I have enough money now.
You did? That's good. You don't have to push yourself anymore then. That's really good.
Satoshi tried to say something, but he dropped it instead. Satoko has it far worse than me.
Seems like it. Is she alright?
Does she look alright to you? He suddenly sounded upset.
I'd messed up. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was so stupid. I'd ruined this miraculous conversation with him. Satoshi didn't respond to my apology, so I stopped apologizing.
She was tortured until she was literally torn up. And everybody abandoned her. Everybody did.
I didn't.
I tried to calm him down. I hated what I just said because of how hollow it sounded. I had no idea what to say next. I felt guilty. Satoshi was desperate to protect Satoko from their evil aunt, but I'd wish Satoko would die tomorrow because of the curse.
I was trampling on his desperate hope.
Satoko can't take it anymore, so... He cut himself off in the middle and went quiet for a moment. He must have been choosing his words carefully. Then he finally spoke. His words sounded hollow. I mean, I wanted to have fun for one night.
Huh? What do you mean?
This proves that Shion was Mion. This proves it. This definitely proves it, because this is the exact conversation that Keiichi had that he thought he was talking to Mion. Do you remember that? And she was like, "You sound like Satoshi." And of course, Shion, who is in love with Satoshi, would remember this conversation perfectly. The Wananagashi Festival's tomorrow, isn't it? I want you to take her there. Oh, it's like, I'm getting shivers because it's like... And I was right, so I'm getting more shivers because I'm awesome. All right. I want you to take her there.
Yeah, I could do that, but why?
She's exhausted, so I think she'd be happy if she could get away from her aunt for even just one night.
But why?
Why? It's not that I didn't understand why he wanted to take her to the festival. What I didn't understand is why he was asking me to do that. Was there any reason he couldn't take her there himself? I had a hunch he might disappear, so I kept asking, "What do you mean, why?
Why don't you take her yourself?"
He fell silent. Satoshi isn't good at lying or keeping secrets. It was clear he wanted to hide something. I just have some stuff I need to take care of with work tomorrow, so I can't go. He was lying. But he was also stubborn. He wouldn't admit it if I accused him. Mion, can you take her there tomorrow? I wouldn't want to look after Satoko even at Satoshi's request. But I'm also glad he's relying on me. I know it's ridiculous to ask for your help after that incident, but you're the only person I can turn to now. I didn't know what to say. I did know, though, that I wasn't going to turn down his request. Okay, but just for tomorrow, all right? I hope you keep looking after her. What are you saying? I won't do that. Just for tomorrow. He sounded as if he was going to disappear tomorrow. I didn't like the sound of that, so I intentionally sounded sulky. We talked about trivial stuff for just a little while. When the conversation was almost over, Satoshi asked something else. Hey, Mion? I really hate asking this since you might think I'm crazy, but... Huh? What? You... don't believe in it, right? Believe in what? In Oyashiro-sama's curse? What are you talking about, Satoshi? Oyashiro-sama curses those who leave the village, right? That's the rule. Every kid in the village knows that. That's the rule. What's with that suddenly? Are you planning to leave? Though I was kidding. I wanted him to deny it. I'm not thinking about that anymore. He admitted that he thought of it. I guess Reina told me that much. That's good. So you're not leaving the village? No, but I haven't been forgiven yet. Huh? This is so weird because this is exactly what happened to Keiichi, and it's so weird. It's like verbatim almost, except for the forgiven part. So Satoshi tried to say something but hesitated. He was breathing so heavily. Was he sick? Hey, do you feel alright, Satoshi? Sorry. I'm fine. I guess you're tired. I think you should get some sleep. He sounded distinctly more sickly from when this conversation had started. He breathed heavily while punctuating his words. Satoshi repeated his question. Mion, I'll ask you one more time. Do you believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse? What did you want me to say? Could I make him feel relieved with my answer? How should I respond? The answer was simple. There's no curse. There can't possibly be. I didn't know what was bothering him, but I wanted to make him feel better by laughing his worries away. But Satoshi instead fell silent. I couldn't tell if he was happy or not. One thing was certain. I didn't make him feel any better. Sorry I asked such a weird question. Sorry. I felt like I let him down, so I apologized in a rush. Whether it's a real curse or somebody's conspiracy, I won't disappear, and I won't fall victim to it. You won't disappear? No. Not until I buy that teddy bear. I'll get the money pretty soon. I won't go anywhere until then. He chuckled. I knew he was trying to relieve me, but it worked the opposite way. He sounded that he didn't care what would happen after he bought the teddy bear. Oh, my aunt is home. I have to go. Okay. Mion? Huh? Even though he wanted to hang up the phone because of his aunt coming back, Satoshi took a breath to tell me something important. I'll leave Satoko to you. I should have said yes right away. But I still couldn't forgive her. So I just kept quiet. Forget what I said. Bye. He was obviously disappointed. What had I done? I wanted to apologize. I wished I could. But it was too late. The dial tone left no doubt. Now that was depressing. Woo! That was amazing. It was like setting shivers up my spine, and it's even better when you're right in your deduction. Yes, I'm amazing. I'm amazing. I'm so good at mysteries. I'm so awesome. I'm so good. I told you that it was Shion, and that proved it because Mion never had that phone conversation. So when Keiichi called Mion Shion, the real Mion would not have known that it was Satoshi. And also, the girl that's in love. Yes, and it makes so much sense because she wanted to kill Satoko for so long. And especially if something happens to Satoshi, she would 100% blame Satoko and kill her. And then Rika came to find Satoko, right? And so then she killed Rika. And then she locked Mion in the cage because it's probably Mion's fault or the Sonozaki's fault that for whatever happens to Satoshi. And I guess she wasn't able to kill Keiichi because he reminded her of Satoshi, maybe? I mean, she did end up stabbing him, but... But, yeah, at the very, very end. Anyways, I was right. 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 Okay, now I really have to go take a shower and get to bed. So, I will see you guys all later. Thank you so much for watching with me tonight. I'm, like, so excited at how these answer arcs are going. I'm so much more invested in them than I was the mystery arcs. I got invested in the mystery arcs when the mystery started, but there was so much club shenanigan crap that I didn't care about. There was like 7 chapters of it. It was really frustrating to read through all of that. Once I got to the mystery part, I was like totally invested. But then I had to start all over again and do the club shit again. So this is refreshing, and it's happening at a very much quicker pace. Like, we're on chapter 5, right? Chapter 5. Like, the stupid club shit would still be happening in the first book. It just, ugh. And we're already there. We're already there. And things even started happening before. So, thank you. Thank you for upping your tempo and not dragging. Thank you. All right. So, once again, please, if you're watching on YouTube, like this video and follow me. And if you're not watching on YouTube, well, I have a YouTube page, guys. Click on the link below in my information section on Twitch, and I will see you guys there. Good night.